Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Child Care Business Coach podcast. My name is Evelyn Knight. I'm joined today with Cristina Richmond from TLG Financial Foundations. So Cristina and I team up on a lot together. She actually teaches in my membership group once a week on financial literacy, and she is in my Facebook group with me, and of course she is my own financial consultant that I work with. So I asked her to come on the podcast today to talk to my audience a little bit about finances and why it's so important for business owners to get a handle on their finances, to be organized with their finances, and how it really just helps us to get to the next level of business. So Cristina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Evelyn. Like she said, my name is Cristina Richmond. I am the Vice President of TLG Financial Foundation. We are the founders of the Small Biz Financial Coach and the creators of the Rainmaker process, a 6-phase system that helps business owners create cash flow for themselves and their businesses. So, yes, thank you so much for having me.
So I've been working with Cristina, 7 years now? Like we met.
It's 13.
Yeah. So for 7 years, when I approached Cristina, I was a mess. I literally brought a large Amazon box full of my papers and just basically said, here you go. And her company got to basically deal with sorting through it, trying to help me figure things out. And Cristina has been pivotal in my journey in becoming a business owner that has their stuff together, I guess. Like, help me learn about the financials of my business, how to take control of them, why it's so important to be in control, organized, and know how to read your financials, and basically becoming financially literate, which is why I now offer that track for my members. So Cristina, let's talk a little bit about why is it so important with the owners that you work with that aren't organized. What problems do you see?
Oh my gosh. When they're not organized, it's a snowball effect, and it's just one thing after another. So we really teach business owners to take a step back. Get the first steps is get your financials cleaned up. We need to make sure that we have accurate numbers, that we can trust what the numbers that we're working with. So first we teach you how to clean up your financials, or if you want, we can do it behind the scenes and then come back and, start working with you. But first things first, we have to get everything cleaned up because it is the foundation of everything that we do. And so when business owners come in and they don't know what a profit and loss is, they don't know what a balance sheet is, they don't know what the transactions are saying inside of their QuickBooks, or maybe they don't even have QuickBooks, they're using an Excel spreadsheet. So our first thing is that we just have to help them get that foundation so that we can move forward with them. And it is literally the foundation of everything that they go off of, because when they don't have that, we just can't trust the numbers. We can't do anything. We can't help you at a higher level if we don't get that piece taken care of first.
Well, I like to think of it now as a leaky bucket. I think before I found you guys, my financials were definitely like a bucket that had a bunch of holes in the bottom of it. And, you just keep pouring the water in and it never fills to the top. And I always used to I felt like a hamster on a wheel, right? Where I just didn't understand, why is it never filling up? And I didn't realize that by not having a handle on my finances, by not being literate at all on business finance. And I really want to stress that business finance is very different than household finance. But by not having, it was literally like I had this hole that was just bleeding money. So and I'm sure you guys see, and I know you guys do, because the first thing you have us do is find where we're bleeding money, basically, and have us cut. I know, when I met Christine, she told me to cut that 10%, and I thought that was impossible. There's no way I'm going to cut 10%. And I ended up coming back with 17, which blew my mind, using your guys' technique. So is that pretty common, though? What you see is just owners just literally just having that leaky bucket of money?
Right. So once we get that foundation and we know that we can trust the numbers, then we start teaching business owners what is a balance sheet, what is a profit and loss, what is the story that it's telling you, and this just helps you make confident business decisions. So once we start working with business owners to teach them what it is, what are their financials, what do they mean, then we go through and we ask them to do needle in a haystack is what we call it. And we go through each category and we look at every single transaction and we decide, can we remove it, reduce it, or replace it with something less expensive? So we are trying to get very lean on our expenses so that we can create that cash flow to be able to start saving and start building that successful platform that we always talk about called Profit First. So
right. And I absolutely love Profit First. It's amazing. When we first started, I never thought I would be able to have a savings. And ironically, this morning, I was going through all my bank accounts, and sometimes it blows me away in 7 years how much I've been able to save because of the Profit First system. So explain a little bit about the Profit First system that you guys work with and how it works.
So Profit First, we are a Profit First professional firm. So we are all certified, and we work with business owners to, we do a matrix for them. So we get their real revenue. We take their income and we subtract out their supplies and materials and their subcontractors. That gives you your real revenue. That's what we have to work with. And then we figure out the percentages that we need. So we have our income account. The first thing you do, I'm so sorry, let me back up a second, is you set up those 5 bank accounts. You have your income account, your operating account, payroll account, profit, and tax. And so sometimes we have use owner's pay or payroll, depending upon what sort of entity you are. So that could be either or. But we set up those bank accounts. We do a matrix, and we come up with that real revenue by taking your income and subtracting out your supplies and materials and your subcontractors, getting that real revenue. And we do percentages. And all the money goes into your income account. And once you get a rhythm, so you might do it once a week to get started, but the goal is to do it twice a month. You take all the money in the income and you do transfers into the operating with the percentage that we've allocated for according to the matrix. And we do a percentage into your operating, a percentage into your payroll, tax, and profit. So that way the profit comes off the top. So we're not saying, oh, whatever's left over, income minus expenses equals profit. We're saying income minus profit equals expenses. That's why we do needle in the haystack. We get super lean on our expenses. So we start putting that money aside because we want to make sure that we have 3 months of reserves in your operating account in case anything ever happens. We want to make sure that you have, a good amount of payroll. I like to do 3 months of payroll as well, because if you got hurt and you couldn't work, you have to make sure that those things are still there. But at least 3 or 4 payrolls, you want to have a backup of. So just making sure that you can put that money aside before you pay your bills. And then that forces you to get lean on your expenses, cut those costs, make sure that if you have dues and subscriptions, you're actually using all of them. You're not just wasting money paying for something you don't even really know what you have or you don't use it. So those kinds of things to help you put that profit aside first.
Right. And I think 2020 is a great example of why that is so very important because and I'm so thankful that I had you guys set me up on this path before 2020 because I was prepared when COVID hit. And I know we ended up getting the PPP loan and different options, but before that was even an option, I knew I was going to be okay. And it was because of these techniques put into place. And I know that a lot of you out there who are listening are thinking, well, there's no way my business is in a position where I can't save. And I can tell you in 2013, when I met Cristina, I thought the same thing. I thought that there was absolutely no way. I thought that that I was doing everything I could. But the problem is I just didn't know. There's so much more to know about business finance that I did not know about. And you don't know what you don't know. And right. So, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, and the one thing that we do is we start with putting 1% in profit, 1% of your income into profit, because we don't want to go backwards. So we start off with 1%. Let's get comfortable. Let's make sure that we can make this all work. And then we move to 2% and 3%. And we, to whatever our target is. And we want to get to, maybe our goal is 15%, maybe our goal is 5%, maybe it's 10%, but whatever it is, we don't want to go backwards. So we're always, we start with 1% into profit just to get moving forward, because that's the hardest part, that first step.
Right. Just getting us owners used to it, because I mean, a lot of us do have these limiting beliefs that are so inaccurate. And I was there. I know. I mean, you saw what my books looked like when I met you. They were a nightmare. So I was there, but just now, and 7 years later, I can say the difference is amazing. But it's not just how you guys help us to establish that, but it's also, I think, what makes you guys unique is that you're educating us along the line. And I think important thing to know is, before, when I met you guys, the bookkeeper accountant I had was embezzling from me. But because I had no financial literacy, I had no idea until it was already done and she was gone, basically disappeared, literally. And I had no clue, because I didn't know what to look for. So that's another thing that I love about TLG that you guys do, is you make sure that you're not only helping us get our financials straightened out, but you're educating us to make sure that we can read it and do it, so we can recognize if something is wrong.
Right. And our CEO, Christine Mailer, she is a teacher at heart. That is her mission, is to teach every business owner financial literacy. And back in the beginning, when her and I first started working together, she's like, I just want to teach people how to do their financials. I want to teach them how to read their profit and loss and their balance sheet. And she's like, I might teach myself out of a job, but that doesn't ever happen, because business owners are always needing help. So, we're still here, but that's her mission, is to teach business owners how to have financial literacy in every aspect. She wants them to be able to make those confident decisions and educate themselves on everything that they're doing. So
right. And it's been awesome for me. I mean, I just know now that, like, when there certain, like when the PPP actually came out, I was just ready. I had everything at my fingertips. I was able to submit the application and get that done within a couple hours, because it was all right there, ready, organized, and done. I recently also applied for a grant through the CARES Act, and a lot of owners couldn't get this grant done because they had to have projections, they had to have a budget, they had to have, like, just a lot of different things that most are the P&L balance sheet, of course, which is pretty standard, but the projections, that was what really threw a lot of owners off. They didn't know how to do a 12-month projection. So, and I would not have known how to do it either years ago. But now, just with working with you guys, now I know how to do all of that. I don't like doing it, but I know how, which is why I still have you guys in my books every day, because I prefer not to do it. But when I need it, I do have the knowledge and I can do it.
And that's what that's our hope, is that we can teach you guys how to do it. We can help you guys learn. We can be there to guide you. But after you guys understand, you can pass it off, and we can just do once a month financial meetings to make sure as a business owner, where you're at with your finances. And if we have questions that need to be answered, we go over those at that time. So that really is our ultimate goal, is that we can continue to help you, but first we need to make sure you understand.
Right. And when it comes down to business organization, right, and like organizing your finance, I know you guys use QuickBooks Online, and let's talk a little bit about why is it so important to use a platform like QuickBooks, even if it's not QuickBooks, but something similar to QuickBooks, in order to keep your financials straight and accurate.
Well, you need some place to keep everything, organized. I mean, that is the organizational system, is that accounting platform that you use, whether there's Xero, there's QuickBooks. QuickBooks Online is about 85% of the industry. Most people use QuickBooks, whether it's desktop or online. The industry Intuit is moving away from desktop and pushing for the online. So that's why we have moved everybody to our online platform. But that really is the core of the organization. That's where, if you use an Excel spreadsheet, things can be changed, things can be moved. When we put it into QuickBooks Online, there's a little option that we have to close the books. So each month after we review your financials, we know they're clean, we close the books. So you as a business owner can't go back and change something without even realizing it. Not that you're going to go maliciously change something, but people click on things, move things, and then they're like, I don't know what I just did. So we do have that system to be able to lock it and you can't change it. So
well, and that's actually a good safety net for an owner who has a bookkeeper. The bookkeeper who might be handling cash, or even a director, that you've got that safety net where they can't just delete something.
yes. Yes. And we also have an audit trail, which we can go back and check and, see that audit trail of who did what when. And every time somebody logs in, every time they change a transaction, every time they click on something, there's that audit trail. So that's very helpful with the accounting system as well. So that it's very important to use one of those platforms to keep your finances in.
Well, and I like the automation too, where it's just linked so you don't, with Excel, you're going to be logging every single transaction. But with QuickBooks, it's automated. So it's basically doing it all for you based on your bank account. And then you just kind of go through an audit and make sure it's all there and it's properly allocated.
And it's much better than pen and pencil, like a pen and paper. I actually do know somebody who still has a ledger.
Wow. Well, and I have to say too, one of the things I'm really grateful for is I don't know, you're going to have to help me with this term, but the organization and how everything is classified in QuickBooks, because when I had to apply for the grant, which is part of the CARES Act, they wanted, so the state of Nevada basically came out with a grant where they were paying a portion of our operating expenses, right? And for this grant application, there were specific things in our operating expenses that we had to account for. I was able to go straight in, select those items because QuickBooks had them all categorized there. I was able just to check those categories, print the report for the state. Whereas I know a lot of owners actually had to take classes on first of all, what are operating expenses? Secondly, what do these categories mean? And they then had to go back through their books and figure out the last 12 months of it and get it calculated, where it was done for me. So, and thanks to how you guys set me up, organized me, and then how QuickBooks just automates all of that.
Right. So actually today on our Facebook group, we went live about this. So we talked about the chart of accounts. So the chart of accounts is the core of your accounting system. Everything flows in through it, in and out, in and out. Everything is behind the scenes flowing through your chart of accounts. So if it comes out of your bank account and you're paying an office expense, it's all happening behind the scenes. So that is and then so when we're entering an expense, we're putting it to a category. So then when we run the profit and loss, we can see those categories split out real nice and neat. And that's what you're talking about. When you were able to just run your profit and loss, click on, office expenses, you can see everything that's inside of there, all the backup that goes with it, every line item transaction. So that is what helps you keep everything very organized.
Right. Yeah, very organized. And everything's just done for me all the time, which is so very nice. So tell my listeners about your Facebook group. So, and I'll introduce the Facebook group that Cristina and Christine have does help educate owners on business finance. So where can they find you on Facebook?
So our company Facebook page is TLG Financial Foundation. And then inside of that, we have a group called the Small Biz Financial Coach. And it is Biz, B-I-Z, so the Small Biz Financial Coach. And we just are teaching financial literacy, putting out a ton of free content, going live all the time, just trying to help business owners set up a successful business.
So I will put a link to your page and your group in the show notes, and I'll also actually put your email address in case anybody wants to get a hold of you. The other thing too I want to let all of my listeners know is that TLG Financial Foundations and my company, Child Care Business Professionals, are teaming up. So most of my listeners know that I do offer a membership. And for my monthly membership, Cristina already teaches on it. Well, we're adding a package where we can to my membership, which basically, if you want to work with Cristina's company, they will actually do coaching with you, one-on-one coaching, help you set up everything she was talking about, and you actually get to be a member in my group. So you're getting both the best of both worlds, where you're getting those system and automations that I help you with, the business end of things, and the financials. The nice thing I think with the financials is that you're going to have somebody who's actually working with you one-on-one. It's easy. Like the stuff I teach, I can do in the group setting. It's very, just we can do it as a group together. That think tank works out wonderful. But when it comes to your financials can be so specific, and it really does help to have that coach with you.
Right. So in our membership site, we are grouped for the weekly trainings, the office hours, those sorts of things. But we do offer the once a month one-on-one with the coach to get deep into your specific financials. So we also do have the group setting for office hours and those sorts of things that you have access to us through. It's but we do both also.
Right. And my membership also, you have access to me once a month. I do the same thing where I basically have an accountability call with you once a month if you're one of my members, just to make sure you're staying on task and committed to your goals. I also help you set up your goals. So we can do that as financial goals, as business goals, and then work towards, and that's something Cristina and I work together very closely. So, and Christine, so if we do share a lot of clients, so we do bounce things off of each other, let them know where are we, just to make sure we're aligned correctly. But it really is the whole package, making sure that not only are your business processes, procedures, the child care management part of it is in place, but also your financials are strong and really secure.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So do you have anything you'd like to add, Cristina?
No, that was great. I thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much again for being here. And again, I will add Cristina's contact information, a link to her Facebook group. Make sure you join that Facebook group. There are so many free resources in there for you. And your website.
tlgff.com.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us and listening. And again, let me know if you have any questions and join my Facebook group, the Child Care Business Coach, which I will also link in the show notes. Have a wonderful day.